and gentlemen, welcome to Walking with J.Beau. Think spring. Think spring, folks. This comes on an evening where it's 35 degrees. I'm back to wearing my winter hat and gloves. I'm dressed for mild winter weather. Thankfully, it's not windy. We are walking later than usual. I'm going to do about 5 miles tonight. Get a walk in before we get precipitation later. We're supposed to get some snow. It says less than an inch. It's not going to stick. Ground's thawed out. It's just your typical nuisance April snow, which we have had plenty of times. And in fact, the day before yesterday, actually it was April 4th. April 4th, we had 18 inches of snow last year. So we'll take this. As we pass the pizza place. So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I dug out a pair of Reebok Aztrecs that I used for almost all of 2023. Haven't worn them all of last year. And I'm wearing them tonight because it's maybe the last time I wear them. It's my way of saying goodbye, because I noticed that they did have a split in them. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles I've walked with these, and we'll give them 5 more miles. My regular Reebok Aztrecs are still fine. Sentimental value, okay? Just play along. It does feel cool and crisp. Then a couple days from now it's going to warm up. We're going to have one day almost 60 degrees. Normal temperature for us this time of year is 50 degrees. So hi, how you doing?
Very good.
Well, that's very peculiar. Car dealership's closed. That guy is just standing there leaning against a vehicle that is in the parking lot. Very peculiar. I have him on video, So if something happens, I will have to break off a piece of this video for the police, I guess. Kind of unusual to see somebody standing there like that. So anyway, we had a very nice Supreme Court ruling. Gas is going down to $2.92. Dropped about 10 cents. From what I've been reading, the price of gas is going to continue to drop. They're expecting to see $2.50 or less for pretty much everybody. Most parts of the country. Of course, that doesn't apply to California and places like New York. But what I'm saying is they will go down. Also want to report that the price of eggs now at Walmart is under $5. Down from 8 something. So prices have dropped dramatically for eggs. So enjoy. Boil them up, fry them up, scramble them up. Enjoy some eggs. Now I'm also not going to do, I'm not doing a selfie stream tonight because it's kind of cool. I don't feel like carrying the selfie stick. I did yesterday, and after a while when you're holding that, your hand and your arm starts to go to sleep. So I'm going to take a break from it today, plus it's at night. And I think this picture will be good enough. I was happy enough with it the last time. So anyway, we had breaking news this evening. Very happy about this. Chief Justice John Roberts finally got off his dead ass and did something. And the deportations of Tren de Aragua will continue. He ruled Judge Browsberg's decision to be null and void. President Trump has constitutional right to enact that act from 1798. Emergency declaration powers. All this fuss about people trying to say you can only use that in time of war, that's all null and void now. Back in business, folks. MS-13 and Tren de Aragua will be kicked out of the country. Get the hell out. And he did put a temporary pause on the MS-13 member that was living in Maryland. He was deported as being a Tren de Aragua member. Turns out he belonged to a different gang that's on the same terrorist watch list, MS-13. So, you know, you want to read the headlines where the Trump administration made a mistake, mistakenly deporting so-and-so. Well, perhaps yes, but it's an MS-13 member, so they just sent him for the wrong reason. So the hell with him. So, but that's on a temporary pause. So we'll see what happens with that. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you.
So in other news, that's really awesome, by the way. Now we can get back to business here. Make America safe again. Very interesting to note that Justice John Roberts decided to get off his ass when the Republicans had a public hearing, and they said a whole bunch of times during this hearing that the Supreme Court of the United States is going to have to do something, and if they don't, Republicans are going to pass legislation making it impossible for district judges to make national rulings, which is what we suggested on this walk last week, I think. Should not have a district court judge who was shopped around specifically because they hate Trump. The media likes to say, well, this judge was appointed by Bush, or this judge was whatever. Yeah, like there's no Republicans that hate Trump and are doing the same thing, right? Come on, guys. So, they want to make a special commission with the Supreme Court on presidential decisions, injunctions, where it would go directly to the Supreme Court without the district court and without the appellate. Just get a final ruling from the Supreme Court and get it over with, because things like this are a matter of national security. We don't have 6 months to wait for a decision. So that's what happened in this case. Chief Justice Roberts intervened. So hopefully this will send a message to the lawfare a-holes whose plan is to obstruct and delay the Trump agenda that people voted for. And polling is showing that Trump still has big support on that. So the other thing I want to talk about is the protesting we have seen. So we got the church here, still boarded up, still working on it. So anyway, this protesting we saw, 500,000 people nationally. Half a million, which really isn't anything. It's 0.0145% of the population, I believe. And so anyway, oh. Yeah, 0.14, 146 or something like that. So anyway, regardless, paid organizers are organizing these. They're arranging transportation for people from inner cities, maybe some kind of promise of a hot meal for the day, or just people that signed up for something online. It's usually what they do. And so anyway, bottom line is the people at these protests weren't paid to attend. And I've seen some conservatives online try to say that, and it's like, guys, don't be ridiculous. Nobody's going to pay 20,000 people to protest. But they may have been promised something, Transportation was definitely provided. You know, you got, I don't know how many people live in Boston, 2, 3 million, whatever. 20,000 people showing up in Boston is a small crowd for Boston. Trump's had more than that at a friggin' rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, for crying out loud. So the media is there to make it look really good, really big, like everything is shifting, and it's all, what they're doing is they're trying to give Democrat voters hope and get the base all ginned up and angry and feel like they have hope because Trump's destroying Social Security and Medicare, according to the media and Democrats. They use fear, they fearmonger people, and I don't know if there's a lot of people that really believe that. Because I saw 2 separate polls. I saw an opinion poll on Elon Musk. He's not as popular as he was. But when asked if Doge was still a good thing to do, that still had good support. So in other words, we support what Doge is doing. We just don't like Elon Musk. Which is fine, because Elon Musk is going to be there for another 130 days, I believe. Or he was only there for 130 days as a government whatever. And the Trump administration did say that he's going to stay on as an advisor after his tenure, which is legally up after 130 days. Will do, because he was not vetted by Congress, and that's just the rules. So that's what's going on with that. Go down this way. So Doge is going to continue what it's doing. Trump says after Elon is not heading that, it is going to continue doing what it's doing with other people. So it's there for good. And it's part of a governmental office that was there to begin with, that had to do with government waste. Problem was they weren't doing their job, and they were allowing the waste because of corruption. So the Democrats definitely got a big loss today with the that act of 1798, Insurrection Act, Immigration Act, I mean. So that's a big win, folks. Very big. So I'm sure the Democrats are melting down over that tonight. They tried their propaganda to try to make something true that wasn't. And like with everything else they've done, it didn't work. So the hell with them. We got no use for these people. So we're gonna have a lovely walk. I like walking at night. I got my little flashlight with me in case I need it. I don't think I'll need it tonight though, with the route I'm taking. Gas is always more expensive here. So you get in the bigger city like this, it's about 10 to 15 cents more than it is just 10 miles out of town, one way or the other. They know what they're doing. So we'll walk through here. This will be like a little test to see how good this looks on my nighttime setting. I think it'll be okay. We have not walked this route since last year. It was a very warm summer night when we did. Tonight, not so much. Now I want to thank somebody who watches for a suggestion. I'm actually going to put your username on the intro for this walk because it was your idea. But it was suggested that I should include how many miles I have walked this year thus far. So with every walk I take, you can keep track, if you want to, of how many miles J.Beau is walking this year. I record all these stats with my app. Now, yesterday's walk that I uploaded, I'm going to add manually the mileage because my app did not work properly for some reason. In fact, it turned off just as I started it. I probably hit something on the touch screen as I put it in my pocket and turned it off, which I rarely do. So I will have to add 5.31 miles to the total. And I'll add tonight's total as well. And we can keep track of J.Beau. So that was a damn good idea you had. Thank you very much. So again, you will be given credit on the credits for this walk. I will include your username. Very good idea. I don't know why I hadn't thought of it. It's actually interesting. That's why I ask you guys to tell me things. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not the brightest bulb in the light ceiling, in the ceiling. So you have to let me know these things. Anyway, thank you very much. Very good idea. I had 1,339 miles last year. This year so far, it's 196.2. Add the 0.3, that's 0.5. And that'll be 201 miles before tonight because yesterday's didn't register. So I basically walked 200 miles this year already, and that was with a lot of January. I was not able to walk, and half of February. So I don't know if I'll be able to top last year. I'm not really going to set out to try that unless it gets close down towards the end. I might pull out a couple 11-mile walks at the end of the year, or close to it. We'll see what happens. So where I'm walking right now is kind of a semi-good part of town, maybe. Not really worried about too much walking this way. I don't even think I'll have any issues with dogs until I get up in the side streets, which we will be on. Ooh, yes, it is cool tonight. Get the juices flowing. Sorry for the sniffles. That's the nature of the beast. Other news I wanted to talk about, not related to politics, but the really good guitar player Faulkner of Judas Priest had a very serious problem in 2021 where he had an aortic aneurysm, which caused a blood clot, which went up in his brain and caused him to lose some of the ability to play guitar for a while. He said everything just used to be instant. When he'd have a guitar, he could just play whatever. And now he has to think about it and work what he's going to do and physically be able to do it. So I'm very happy that he is still able to play despite still having damage. It's the guy's life joy. He's only 45 years old today, even now. You know, and this is 3-4 years after. So we wish him the best, right? Even though I saw a couple of interviews with him where he was starting to get cocky and think he was a bigger deal than he was. Came off as kind of being arrogant. The interview I saw after his stroke, he was not like that. So maybe he had some sort of awakening. As you can see, it is trash night. I almost saw a jug there for shoot cycling, but it didn't have the cap on it. And it was dripping all over the place. I'm not going to carry it and get full of dripping laundry detergent. But we did have a whole crap load of jugs we shot. I shot about 30 rounds at jugs. That's how many jugs we had. What amazes me is how accurate Mini 14s are. And I'm sure your AR-15 is as well, with the 5.56, 223. But I can attest that the 223 Remington by PMC Bronze pointed soft points is accurate as all get out. I shot an 1.5 inch wide container, all right, 1.5 inches by 4 inches long. At about 50 yards, maybe closer to 45. First shot. And it was under pressure and had flammable stuff inside. And it didn't blow up in any flame or anything. Just the point was it was under pressure and it blew up. Perfect shot. Best shot I made in a while. Now I might have got lucky and hit it, but it felt good when I shot it. It was one of those. You can usually tell when you're going to miss something as soon as you pull the trigger. My marksmanship has been really excellent, and really happy with the Canik Rival S in 9mm. Uploaded a video on the channel for that. What a great pistol. Oh my God. I can say everything good about it that I can, and it's still not enough. It's my favorite pistol, I think, to shoot. Absolutely love it. So we're going to walk on up ahead. I'll hang a left up past the high school, which we're walking by now. You can tell I haven't cleaned the sidewalks yet here. Still full of leaves. And you see what happened here is this homeowner that owns this house up here used a leaf blower, blew everything down the hill into the road here. See this? That's illegal. Now, if I was a jerk, I'd call and make a complaint, but that's not up to me to do that. But you're not supposed to do that. Now the city is going to clean it. Maybe when the city comes by to clean it, somebody will go, well, to prevent that from next year, we're going to have the police go over there and give them a summons for doing that, because that is illegal. I rake everything up and burn it. I got a lot of stuff to burn this year. I'm waiting until I'm sure winter is done. I'm also waiting until everything's dry. We're gonna get snow tonight. Saturday and Sunday look like a lot of rain. We're gonna have rain Friday, Thursday into Friday. So it's bad weather season. April showers bring in May flowers. That's the saying. here anyway. Vacation, spring break, April 21st to April 25th. So the kids only get 4 days off from school, extra long weekend. I guess that will be okay. So the Republicans in DC, it looks like they're putting their head down and they've decided that they're going to govern, which is good because that's what happened in Florida. The Republicans got the majority, they got to work and they got things done. That's all the people want. Now they get a 63% majority in Florida, the Republicans in their legislature. That wasn't always the case. So you get rewarded for getting things done and not having infighting, backstabbing, chaos. And I think they're starting to learn that in DC. President Trump has demanded it. But make no mistake, they are going to wait for an opportunity to go after Mike Johnson. And I'm talking about people like Chip Roy, Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like that. And I am not happy with Rand Paul in the Senate. He's picking the worst time to join the anti-tariff coalition, saying one man does not have the power to raise taxes. For one thing, a tariff is not a tax on the American people, it's a tax on other countries. The president has the authority to issue tariffs with other countries. That's the other fact. The president of the United States is elected by the people, duly elected. He campaigned on tariffs. So he has the authority by the people vested in him to do what he's doing. I'm sorry they don't like it, but Rand Paul's not doing himself any favors joining the camp with Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, Tim Kaine, the Democrat. He's siding with Democrats, and the liberals are taking everything he says as ammunition against the Republicans on social media. And I absolutely am not going to get past this with Rand Paul. He picked the wrong time to do this. And it's almost like he's uninformed. He keeps talking about the depression that happened. It was caused because we were using tariffs. That's false. That's a false. Anybody can look that up. The United States was using tariffs, and they instituted income tax in 1913. That's what led to it. Because we had unfair trade that developed. Because stupid people were running things. So I said it on my last walk, if you just did tariffs, that would not be good. But that's not what they're doing. They're doing tariffs, tax reduction, deregulation, and they're putting a huge financial strain on other countries around the world. That's the plan. That's the art of the deal, okay? As Trump said, we hold all the cards. And another thing announced today, yesterday on my walk, I announced that 50 countries were in touch with Scott Bessant about negotiating trade. Israel officially announced today in the White House Oval Office that there's going to be 0 tariffs with free trade. So we're going to have free trade with Israel with no trade barriers at all. Free open trade. So that's the first one, and it's an important one. Because what's going to happen, as we see some pretty lights twinkling across the street, now it's being reported by Scott Bessant that between 60 and 70 countries are contacting the White House for negotiations. He said they're going to have a very, very busy April with other countries' envoys coming to the White House. And this is what we wanted. So we're going to have free trade. It's being reported that the EU is about ready to cave and have 0 trade, wiping the trade deficit to 0. And Trump said we're actually going to do more than 0 trade with Europe because they deserve it, he said. How do they deserve it? Because they've been taking the worst unfair trade advantage of the United States. Trump said today in the Oval Office that, and this is true, the EU was put in place specifically to screw the United States with trade. So things are coming together. Hang tough, my friends, hang tough. I got a feeling this is going to be over sooner than later. So, what we need to worry about right now is the rhinos, the Republican rhinos that like to panic. Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, add in Chuck Grassley, Rand Paul. They may start to panic after the stock market numbers, blah, blah, blah. And they're not going to be willing to wait. So, this I am going to pick up and carry. Check this out, my friends. We'll wait till we get to the street light up here. I just found one of the best things you could find for shoot cycling. Huh? Look at this. Big water bottle. This is going to be fantastic for shooting. It's going to be kind of bulky. Carry it. I don't have a handle on it, but I don't care. This is a good find. It's empty, doesn't really weigh anything, so. Oh boy, what a good find. I love taking walks on trash night. There's J.Beau picking through the trash. Alright, Weber Avenue. I'm gonna take a left down Weber. It's part of my route. We're about 2 3/4 miles right now. I planned out my walk on my Google Maps. Police officer just went by. I'm walking around with a jug about 9:30 at night. Nothing nefarious about that. 1 o'clock in the morning, he'd probably stop and ask me some questions, which he should. Let's see, do we have any more things with handles? We got small jugs. I don't want the small ones. Let's see if we can find anything else up here. So there was 2 laundry jugs in that container, but they were small ones. If they were big ones and they had the cap on it and they weren't leaking, I would grab them. Now we got a recycling thing here with a lid on it. I'm not going to go digging through that. I don't like it when people dig through my trash. If there's anything laying in the open though, I'm going to grab it. Because the recycling bins here is for cardboard, plastics. And usually when there's cardboard, you're not supposed to mix things. And I'm telling you right now, the trash that you put aside for recycling, 90% of it is not recycled. It's put in the landfill. That is just a thing they do because the city passed an ordinance a 3 decades ago. Recycling, remember that? Another bullshit propaganda. And now, rather than saying it's a dumb idea, they only recycle about 10%. And that's a stat you can look up. You can look that up. Don't take my word for it. It would take too much money to recycle all of that, seriously. So they don't. They really don't. So this is a quiet part of town. I probably should talk a little quieter. I think I will talk quieter. A lot of people say, aren't you afraid walking at night and it's dark? No, I'm not. Because I train and I carry and I'm not going to live in fear. I'm just not going to. I refuse. There's nothing to be afraid of. Anything I would be afraid of happening to me, I have an equalizer. Hope to God I never have to use it. Over here we got a nice Trump porch. Look at this. We're in a Trump neighborhood. Isn't that cool? So that is a Trump neighborhood we're in. Feel better now? You don't have to worry about me? So we just hit 3 miles. 3 whole miles. Now this time I got the woman in my ear telling me, so I know it's being recorded. Pile of wood there, cleaning up their brush. It's that time of year. They have spring cleanup week. You put your stuff out and the city will come by and pick it up. Last year there was a dog out here. I don't think he's out this year yet. Dark over here. We've got a radio tower here. Don't know who it belongs to. Let's see if we can take a look. If there's a sign on it or something. There's some kind of enclosed thing over there. Get this thing here. I don't know what this is. I know you won't be able to see it probably. I'm going to see if I can look on Google Maps. See what the hell this is. You got like a shack, long building, with a big tower that comes out of it. That should be for radio. I just don't know who. Now they got one of these electricity junction boxes here. So whatever is in that big building down there with these white covers on them, they're using a lot of power. Probably agricultural. They may even be legally growing marijuana, since marijuana is legal in Maine. I'll put my little flashlight away now. So I don't know what the hell that is. But now we're going to go on the roundabout here and end up walking back to the ranch. So I'll probably have 5.5, 6 miles tonight, which is okay because we're supposed to get a lot of rain coming up, and if I don't get an opportunity in the raindrops, I don't like to walk when it's windy, and I especially don't like to walk if it's pouring rain out. Light rain, I don't mind that. Misting, I don't mind that. But I am happy to be walking with you guys. I'm also very happy with my physique. It might be vanity, call it what you want to, but I like getting out of the shower and liking what I see in the mirror. At my age, it's a blessing. I'm going to be 57 in July. So, try to keep myself in as good a shape as I can. I don't see any more shoe cycling jugs here sticking out. So I'm keeping an eye out for those. I'll walk down this way. I'm going to take a right-hand turn up ahead. Way up ahead. Well, not too far. I'm wondering if I missed my turn. I don't think so. Yeah, I might have come off the wrong street that I wanted. That's okay. We can get there from here. And I'll still have about the same distance. So we'll hang a left up here. And then a right. Instead of just taking the right. I mean, yeah, it's 35 degrees tonight, but I'm really happy that it's not too cold to walk. It's not cold enough to freeze. And I am wearing layers. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, thermal one, with a 2XL t-shirt on that, so it fits loosely. And I'm wearing a 2XL thermal shirt over that. And I'm also wearing a hoodie on top of that. So I got 4 layers all together. Be careful on these side streets at night because people just zip around not expecting anybody to be walking, because people usually don't. I'm gonna go across the street. I'll go across the street here and see if we find anything else for chute cycling. I got room to carry at least two more jugs if they have handles. The one in my right hand, no handle. Looks like they cut down my trees. There were 2 big trees here. They got cut down. Damn. I hate to see those big trees get cut down because they're beautiful. Solo Salon. Boy, that's a really good find. This big chute cycling jug. That's pretty cool. Well, we got 2 more trees here cut down. I got a feeling the city is doing that. I wonder why the city is doing that. Well, alright, I'll walk down this way. Last year this was all under construction, these sidewalks. And they got them all paved now. So that's good. I hope you enjoy walking with me. Very nice night to walk tonight. It's lost that kind of frosty cold feeling. Even though it's 35 to 37, it's not cold. Now you guys down south would still think it's cold, but it doesn't feel like the same, 35 degrees where you get that cool chill on your neck. It doesn't feel like that. Well, it's nice to see these old sneakers. They still got a few miles left in them. So I had a good email exchange with my state senator. About firearms, dangerous to children, and at least I got her on board with knowing that the propaganda the media was talking about, a leading cause of death of children as firearms, that is a very exaggerated fact. It's true, but 52% were accidental deaths in the home. And almost all of those happened when the young person took the gun out to show somebody, or a kid got into it and was playing with it. So, very important distinction to make. The rest were gang fights and parking lots and shootouts at barbecues and inner city bullshit. And they were teenagers, so they qualify as being minors. So the Democrats like to call them kids to make it sound like poor little Joey that's 3 years old was killed by a firearm, which sadly that does happen, but I'm just saying they weren't being truthful about it. So anyway, I got her squared away on that. Basically, she said the same thing anybody would say. Well, 52% is still too high. What can we do to keep parents and keep parents from allowing their kids to do that? One, I do support a stiffer sentence, not on a parent where, let's say you go into the home for another call and the parent has a firearm that's loaded and there's kids. I explained to her I do not want to see people being in trouble for that. You got to be able to defend your kids. But when a kid does get a firearm and does something bad, there should be a more severe penalty, and responsible gun owners need to be responsible. We need to hold our shooters accountable, right? I'm sure you would agree with me. But we cannot punish gun owners or punish them where they can't protect the family from a home invasion. So there has to be a reasonable proximity, and you know, there have been probably about a third of the mass shootings would be wiped out if the young teenager didn't get his hands on somebody's firearm. That has happened. There's a number of them you could list off. So minors getting firearms with the mental health crisis that we have, I told her that we should have stiffer penalties, but we also need to stop ignoring that it is a mental health problem that is causing this. It's a mental health issue. I fully support mental health initiatives and legislation, as long as it's within reason and doesn't infringe on people's rights. I told her I would not support a red flag law, but I would support a yellow flag law with amendments to it, giving the police a little more authority. And the firearms taken, it has to be temporary, where the person can then demonstrate to the court that he should have them back, with or without a psychological exam. I think that's reasonable. What I told her I don't want is I don't want to see a responsible gun owner lose his firearms because he's in a court custody battle and the wife is going to use that as a weapon. Now she knows they're probably not going to take the firearms, and if they do, that he'll get them back. He'll prove that he's not crazy. But her defense attorney, who she is in court with, to get custody of the kids can say that we had to call the police for his firearms, and they actually did confiscate his firearms. So now this guy has to defend that, and if he's in front of a liberal judge, or if they have some kind of trial by jury, I mean, think about it. That could be used as a weapon. That could be used as a weapon against him. And people are going to do that because defense attorneys are sleazebags, and attorneys are sleazebags to begin with. But you get what I'm saying on that. I told her I don't want to see that happen. If that's going to happen, then I don't support it. So she may ignore what I said and say, oh, I got a Republican that supports it. I don't know what she's going to do, but you know, I'm trying to tell her that, you know, gun people aren't bad people. The problem, and I told her in the email, I said the problem is when you give a Democrat a little bit of leeway, they go for the whole thing, and they spew all this propaganda that gun owners know is not true, and it just alienates gun owners. They don't want to listen to anything you have to say after that. So we've been seeing a lot of people on TV like CNN and that spewing stuff that's not true. And the other night, that black woman on CNN had her ass handed to her on a topic. I don't even remember what it was, but the former governor of that state said, no, that's not true. And she tried to double, no, it's not true. What you're saying is not true. She finally gave up on it because it wasn't true. They're trying to push this Trump-Elon narrative, and you know, they're pushing false information. Democrats are nasty. They are absolutely nasty people. I mean, I used to have disagreements with Democrats now, but you know, now I'm filled with disdain and hatred. And the ones that know they're lying, I hate them. And the ones that don't know they're lying, I think they're assholes for not keeping up and having your head on straight with common sense. So I hate you too. Sorry. We're at a point in our history right now where I just don't give a crap about these people. Not until they start showing me something. Not until I start seeing Democrats, which I have seen some, leave the Democratic Party. And we're starting to see some people like Bill Maher wake up. But they are lunatics. Power-hungry Sith Lords, I'll call them. I cannot abide that. Democrats are dangerous. Just watch every blue state. Colorado this week. I saw two things in Colorado where now if you refuse to transition your child, you're going to lose your child. And they just passed that in Colorado, similar to what they did in California. If they're going to transition and you as a parent don't want them to, you're going to get charged with child abuse, and you're going to have your child taken from you in Colorado. So my advice to you, if you live in Colorado, is to leave if you have kids. That is batshit crazy. The other thing I saw was, because diversity, equity, and inclusion, a girl that has been playing sports for a while She got kicked off the team and replaced by a trans woman. A man who was not very good when playing with men. Now the university is going to be using him in California because California gave Trump the finger, and we're still waiting for the executive order he signed for the Department of Justice's lawsuit against these states not complying, which they are going to lose. Not the DOJ, I mean states like Maine and California and New York. They're going to lose their money and funding. And you know what? I don't feel bad. Fuck them. Fuck them. And go mess around with these girls who work their ass off to get on the sports team. How hard it is to do that. And they get told to step aside for a trans woman. Fuck you. Fuck you and then some. Excuse my French, but women are getting fucked over, and they're gonna fight for their rights all over again. From who? From who? From men, again. Men taking a fucking shit on women. Excuse my French. I don't like to swear on this, but son of a bitch, man. Enough is enough. Women should be absolutely outraged. I mean, legit angry. Stop voting for the left. Just stop. If you love yourself as a woman and you love your kids, just vote for Republican. You won't regret it. Worst case scenario, you get criminals illegally here out of your neighborhood. Sounds pretty good to me, and your daughter gets to play with women without a naked man in the locker room. Republicans had a bill in the House. They passed it to ban trans women from women's sports. The Democrats in the Senate filibustered it, so it required 60 votes. And all of the Republicans voted, except for 2. And it didn't pass. They needed 7 Democrats to go across the aisle, and it didn't happen. So, hold them accountable in the next election. I'm going to have all of their votes shown in campaign ads where these people are, and we'll see if suburban women want this foolishness to continue. And we'll see if they vote for Democrats or Republicans. The way it is right now, I wouldn't care how much it hurt, but I would homeschool my kid. I would not give them, my kid, to these fucking lunatics. Just would not do it. You know, fuck your pronouns, fuck your DEI, fuck all this shit. I'm very, very passionate about this stuff. Very protective of kids. You know, women can get together and defend themselves. These fucking kids got nobody. A lot of times they get these friggin' idiot parents who are so friggin' brainwashed on this stuff themselves. We gotta save the kids. Right now we're gonna cross the street. This is that same street that during the day, bumper to bumper cars. But right now it's late at night, or getting later I should say, 10:30, 11 o'clock. On a slow night of the week. So we'll head back. We got a chute cycling jug out of the deal tonight. How awesome is that? It's one of those let's see, 4 gallons. It's a 4-gallon jug. That cool or what? 5-gallon jug's a little too big. 4-gallon one is okay for most rounds. Like a 308 soft point will do a good job on this. Boy, I'm hungry. I am hungry. Take a nice hot shower. I think I'll eat something first though. I'm that hungry. I am soaked with sweat. Alright, we're getting there. A little ways to go. Up ahead there, we'll sign off. Whew, good walk tonight. That's how you do it, folks. And just get out there and walk. Beat the rain back. It's not snowing yet. It's gonna soon though. It's supposed to start snowing right about now. And the sky looks low like that. And we have that fresh air smell. Not so much as the middle of winter. Not so much as in the middle of winter, because we don't have that same Canadian kind of air mass. Not like it was. It's chilly, but it's not, you know, that dry, bone dry, freezer cold. Freaking truck over there beeping its horn, honking its honker. All right. Well, this parking lot up ahead here will be as good a place as any to sign off where you can see me. I'll take this off my head so you can see my face for a few minutes anyway, a couple minutes. Hi everybody. I want to thank you very much for walking with me tonight on the Super View wide angle lens. I want to say thank you very much. Click like and subscribe, share the content. I hope you liked what we talked about tonight. Thanks again for the suggestion about adding my current miles for the year at the beginning of my videos. Very excellent idea. I will put your username with it, giving you full credit. And thank you very much for the feedback. Till the next walk, my friends, God bless you. God bless the Republic. And I'm going to wait for these police cars going by. So anyway, we'll see you later, everybody. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the police cars zipping by. Go get him, killer.